Welcome to Daytime. Well, you can only imagine the excitement that happened through the office when this cookbook showed up on our desk. It's called Cooking with Sin, and the local author of the book joins us in studio. Carla Johnson is here. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on.
You know, it's just one of those book titles that intrigues you from the moment you see it. And yet for you, the title came from just a very simple comment your grandmother made years ago.
It did. I was about 17 years old, and I was in the kitchen with my mom, and Grandma was visiting. She's from the West Coast, and Grandma's a Mennonite. And my mom was hunched over the stove, and I said, well, what are you doing? And she's like, I got to get this wine in the chicken cacciatore before Grandma catches me. and as she says that to me, Grandma comes around the corner, and Grandma was short and stocky, and with a German accent, she stops dead in her tracks and goes, oh, cooking with sin, are we? And I remember I watched my mom become defensive, and I watched my grandma, and I watched this moment, and it stuck with me in my memory. And about, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was telling your friend this memory of Grandma saying, cooking with sin, are we? And she said, we got talking, and I said, I bet there's other people that have recipes with stories and interesting memories tied into things with food. And so the idea of food and recipes and stories combining together sort of hooked into my mind, and so I started with a blog.
And the blog led to the cookbook because you found so many great stories out there, recipes involving some form of alcohol in it, whether it's wine or Cointreau or Southern Comfort or whatever it is.
Exactly.
There's some great recipes in here.
They really are, and there's everything from really simple recipes to more complex, challenging ones for the adventurous cooks out there.
Well, how long did it take you to compile all of this and get it together?
Actually, it's been almost a year to the date.
And to you, that probably seems like a long time, but I am sure there are people who have authored books out there that say, it took a year? That's it to put this all together?
Yes. Yeah, it was a pretty quick project coming together. I was a labor of love and of fun. It was just something, once I got into it, I just was fully immersed by it. It pulled me in.
One of the things that's so stunning about this book is the photography. And I couldn't believe when I read, and I'm just going to hold up a couple pictures here, but I couldn't believe when I read, you actually did, like, this is your book. It really is. You did a lot of the photography for this, too.
I did most of the photography. I had a little bit of help because partway through it I realized I was into something that was a little bit bigger than maybe I was capable of doing all by myself. So it's a nice collaborative effort because the recipes all come from other people and the stories come from other people. So then I got other photographers to help me with a couple of the recipes and a couple of the recipe tastings. Every recipe was tasted and tested, and every recipe was photographed.
That's what I was going to ask. As these recipes came in, did you set up your own almost test kitchen so that you could go through, you could try them, you could see how they worked?
Yes, it was a little bit haphazard. One day we did 8 recipes in one day, and we sat down on the deck at the end of the night with several glasses of wine, and we ate it all. We had some friends come over, and
you had to be the most popular person in the neighborhood while you were putting this together, Carla.
My cousin emailed me at one point. She says, Carla, you're going to make a lot of people happy.
Is there one particular story or a couple of different stories from the book that kind of stick out in your mind and the story behind them?
There's a couple of them. When I got partway through this, and I said to my husband one day, I said, this is a really special project for me because it's changing me. I was hearing people's stories, things that people have gone through. There are people in here that are living wonderful, vibrant lives, and they have every reason to be in jail because they've had really tough experiences. One woman shared her story. She was pregnant with her first child. She and her husband, they lived in Sarajevo, and they knew that there was trouble in 1992, so they thought, we'll leave for a week, we'll take a day bag so that we don't look like we're escaping, and we'll just take a day bag with us, and we'll go get ourselves a place. Maybe the baby can be born in Belgrade or something. And they left with just a day bag, and they were never able to go back again. They lost their home, they lost all their belongings. And it's a great story because Sarajevo is nestled under this mountain called Trebević Mountain, and her mother had a cake that she made called Trebević cake. And the woman, Val, she and her husband had been married on the mountain, and the cake recipe was named after the mountain. And Trebević is this mountain that nestles the beautiful city of Sarajevo. And after she had left and she came to Canada, and this is the 90s, her friend in Vienna sent her a letter, said, I made your mom's Trebević cake today. And she thought to get her mom's Trebević recipe back was just some piece of her heritage, some piece of her memory. And I love her story, and they have a wonderful family. She's a wonderful, vibrant, hilarious woman. You would never know, not a chip on her shoulder, but she has been through some tough, tough times.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, you've brought along a couple of holiday-themed recipes, because there are some holiday sections in here that people can look at. I saw milk and cookies with Santa, dessert, and that. But what you've got with you today, is it a cranberry sauce?
Yes, no, this cranberry sauce here with the big bow on it, this is the latest one that's on my blog. It's not in the book, it's in my next collection because I'm collecting more recipes. I hope to put another edition together. And this one came in from Peggy and Jeff, and it's a very cute story. Peggy always just made regular cranberry sauce all the time, and Peggy's husband, Jeff, Peggy's mom would try to buy gifts for Jeff, and she always overthought it. She made him a sweater that was too big. She bought him dealcoholized beer that he didn't like. She bought him a gold-plated toothbrush, and they were all like funny things. And one day she was trying so hard, she came in with this great big bottle of Southern Comfort that she got at the duty free. It took 2 hands to carry it, and she thought, this is it. This is going to win my son-in-law's, heart. And he doesn't like Southern Comfort, so they didn't know what to do with it. They couldn't think of what they were going to do with the Southern Comfort. So Peggy decided she'd just try cooking with it. The day she added it to her cranberry sauce, she knew she had a hit. She then started making gift jars out of it, and it kind of explains it on the blog how she makes gift jars out of it, puts it on a bowl, hands it out to her friends. And it's just basic, your basic cranberry sauce recipe. Your package of cranberries, a cup of water, cup of sugar, and then at the very end you toss in 3 ounces of Southern Comfort. You can make it more or less depending on your taste, and then you put it in jars and hand it out to friends, and it gives this wonderful flavor. It's just a simple recipe, but it brings a really great little extra edge to your cranberry sauce. And as you sit down and make it, if you make that cranberry sauce recipe, I hope you share Peggy's story too. The idea that food is like a glue; it connects us and brings us together. So the idea of sharing the stories while you share the food at the same time, you can connect.
I love that. It's like a glue. I love that.
Yes.
Well, if people have stories that they want to share with you, can they go to your website or the blog?
Yes, cookingwithsin.com. That's it.
Okay,
yes.
and submit those as well. Should also show, because the lady that started it all, by the way, with her little quote, there you are with hubby and grandma right there.
Yes, that's a blast from the past, but yes, isn't she adorable? Yes. My German Mennonite grandmother.
And who knew all those years ago that it would lead to this? The first Cooking with Sin cookbook. Now, if people want to grab a copy of the cookbook, what's the best way to do it, Carla?
The best way right now is off my site, cookingwithsin.com. It's also available on chapters.ca right now, too. And I'm working on getting it out there onto amazon.com. But right now, my site, cookingwithsin.com.
Well, congratulations to you on a great book and a great read. Stories and recipes and more. It's Cooking with Sin. Back with more Daytime in just a moment. Stay with us.